Massive day for the unemployed, aka me. First off, ladies and gentlemen, this video is going to be a little different than what I usually make. It's not going to be drama about, other people and stuff going on. It's going to be about myself. It's going to be about my life and what I've been up to. You probably don't care, but it's just something I wanted to make because I feel like as a content creator, I'm not massive by any means. I have 30K subs, but I feel like I just don't have a lot of time to yap to you guys and tell you, what's been going on with my life and how I'm doing. And I think it's important you guys tell me that as well. Use this comment section to tell me what you've all been up to. But CamNuggets has joined the unemployment line. For those wondering, a few months back, maybe you can say years, when I was covering the huge Mr. Beast drama and whatnot, obviously my channel was booming. It was very successful. It was making a lot of money to the point where I could essentially, make content creation my full-time career, which was like a dream of mine. And as the drama dried up, my channel did too, and so did the, monetization, the ad revenue, the views, and it was time for CamNuggets to get a job, the dreaded curse word, the job, enjoying the employment. I ended up becoming a security guard for a company, and that's kind of why my schedule went from, posting every day, posting maybe multiple times a day, to when I do post, it would be at 10 p.m., super late at night, right when I got off of work, because this job that I had required me to work like probably the worst shift I could ever imagine. Yes, there are some pretty bad shifts as well. People do wake up like 3, 4 a.m. and go, work on construction sites and do real hard-hitting, blue collar labor. I don't think that I by any means worked harder than them, right? But I did have a pretty crappy schedule, being 1:30 to 10, which by my standards, everything doesn't even open up until 11, 12, most things. And then 10 o'clock, everything's closed, right? So for the most part, my life was working. And recently I found myself with a love interest. Yes, I do have a girlfriend. Life's been interesting for CamNuggets. I've beaten the allegations for those who say I don't shower and I don't have a girlfriend and I'm a gooner and all that. I can go along with the jokes. There will still be gooner content because it's funny to cover and whatnot, but I am happy in a relationship. And unfortunately, I was laid off from that security job. It was due to my own mistakes, I guess you could say. And I'm not going to use this video as just something to like trash the company that I worked for, because for the most part, I did enjoy working there. I found it to be quite entertaining. It was just kind of something to do. Clock in at 1:30, turn my brain off, right? It's a big store. I'm sure people who've like seen any of my drama videos and have like seen me on Twitter or Reddit have like kind of can conclude where I worked at. It's one of the big retail stores, right? But basically, my time there was coming to an end. Either by my own regard, I wanted to move on to something because that job wasn't working out. It was something where anytime I would try to apply to be a manager or like move up the ladder and become like a team lead or something, they would always tell me I wasn't ready. They would always just say something, right? Whether it's like attendance or whatnot, right? Things that kind of sound plausible, but then you think about it and you're like, that doesn't really make sense, whatever. Like, there are people who are in better roles than me who call out more than me, blah, 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 right? That's just kind of the crap you deal with at retail. But recently, my most recent shenanigans involving security, this guy was stealing a bunch of stuff, right? He was stealing a bunch of Legos, and I decided to be a jackass and follow the dude and be like, hey, buddy, like, do you have a receipt? You didn't pay for any of this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And during this little altercation, he made some threats to me. And this is the part where I got fired, right? I followed the dude. It was, again, mind you, it was like for probably like 3 p.m. So the sun was out, people were out and about. I didn't really fear for my life or anything, but I did fear to the ability where the guy was making threats, and I wanted to get his license plate and report it to the police. And during this altercation, I pretty much got myself in trouble because as security at this company, you aren't supposed to do that, right? And that's where people are going to say, Cameron, you're stupid, blah, blah, blah. I've heard it, when I unfortunately did get fired from my job. People did tell me, Cameron, that was stupid. You shouldn't have done that. And I always knew deep down that, like, I would eventually get fired for my own recklessness. Sometimes I do take any job I have just a little too serious. I'm sure some of you out there maybe relate. Like, regardless of what job you have, maybe you're just a freaking meat cutter at some deli, or maybe you work for the freaking CIA. You might take your job a little too serious, work just above your pay grade, and that's kind of something I did. And I mean, luckily, I did last about a year and a half before, unfortunately, I did something, which was this incident where I pretty much violated the company's policies. And that was their reason to can me and terminate me, saying that, I was unfit for said company, and that it would result in a termination right then and there. And I had to hit that little sad walk of shame to my office and grab my stuff and pretty much leave the building as if I was like some wanted criminal, right? Like, I'm not trespassed or anything. I can still go to this store. I can't work for this store, I don't think, because again, I was in like a security role, so I did have access to cameras and like private classified information. But at the same time, I think that with this company, I did grow some good relationships and some good bonds with people. So I don't want to truly like burn the bridge entirely, because, life is short. Let's say in a year or so, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, maybe I'm moving up the ladder and I eventually get somehow back to that store in like a much higher paying role. And I would have hated to ruin that for, a couple thousand views on YouTube, if I even get that. But basically, I wanted to make this video again to just kind of update you all on what I've been up to. Why I stopped uploading so often. I know a lot of you guys tell me to cover certain dramas and whatnot, and truthfully, I cannot, because again, I'm at work half the day. When I do come home, I'm either exhausted or these dramas are so behind, I'm so late to them that the videos I pump out will get like no views, and it is what it is. But if I truly just don't find these topics interesting and I'm already late, it's kind of just like, whatever, I'm not going to cover them. And kind of, leading into the unemployment thing, I was a bit depressed, I was a bit sad. Luckily, I have a job interview. I have a few job interviews coming up, so all is well. It is always stressful when you get to the age where you start having like car bills and loans and credit card bills and phone bills and just bill, right? So you get to a point where you need to make like a certain amount each month, and if you get kicked out of a job or fired, obviously that amount drops to zero. YouTube obviously has been a very slow month, probably slowest 2 months on my YouTube career. There's been absolutely nothing to talk about. There's been weird stuff with like David and Andrew Tate, which basically wouldn't be monetized because it involves younger people. It involves, horrific crimes that YouTube would not monetize. And that's kind of a problem I face as a YouTuber as well. But beyond that, throughout, being depressed and being sad that I lost my job and all this stuff, my girlfriend was there, and I was very happy that she was there. And she helped me out a lot. We just kind of sat on this comfy bed and talked about my future and my life and how, YouTube is my dream. You guys mean a lot to me. I see you all, the subscribers out there who comment on all of my videos. I see all of them. I may not reply to all of the comments, and if I do, I might reply to some of the snarky ones with a bit of snark myself, which they always say you shouldn't do that as a YouTuber. You shouldn't reply to your haters, and I just think it's fun. I never thought in a million years I would even have 30,000 subscribers. I never thought there would be times where I was making thousands of dollars a month on YouTube, like covering Mr. Beast drama and things like that, right? But things happen in life, and you have your ups and downs, and right now I'm kind of at like a downward point. After these job interviews, we're going back up. I'm hoping that some of these new jobs that I've applied for will allow me to work mornings and I can continue to make content at night, because unfortunately, as I mentioned before, those 1:30 to 10 shifts, they didn't work. They were not for the what is it, the faint of heart? What is that saying? I don't know. They weren't for the weak. It was basically my whole day, every single day for a year and a half, and it was very stressful, very draining. And again, there were other altercations that I've gotten involved in with thieves and whatnot that someone as security would get themselves into. And, you start to make enemies at work, and even people at work, found out I was a YouTuber. And of course, they would find these funny troll videos about how I don't shower and how I'm a gooner and I want BBWs and all this other stuff, where you just kind of have to laugh it off and hope that, the real ones will be like, what the heck is this about? And then the goofballs will just continue to consume that type of content and like think I'm like the horrible person. But for the most part, like at that job, I did make a lot of great friends, of course, one of them being my girlfriend, who, we began a great friendship. We just did little things like, eating at a restaurant or going to Taco Bell and just eating and talking in the car and having a good time. And that's why my video uploading just kind of slowed down, because I was happy. I am still happy when I do YouTube. It's just I was at a different level of happiness. Not to get too emotional or lovey-dovey, but I never had a lot of like relationships to that dynamic where it's just like an instant connection, and something as simple as going to Walmart and just walking around having a good time, or going to a restaurant eating, made me so happy. And that's something I'm very grateful for. Even though I was terminated from this company, I met someone who made me very happy and am still with, and is also helping me with this unemployment. And they like me, love me for who I am, receding hairline and all. I know you all make fun of me for that. Don't worry. One day that'll be fixed. I take my Hims, I take my vitamins. But yeah, life is fun. Life is okay. I just wanted to make this video to kind of tell you guys that, even at your lowest, you might lose jobs, you might lose friends, you might lose loved ones. There's always something out there. Obviously, this is not the worst thing in the world. I lost a job, boo-hoo. Boo-hoo, baby Cameron lost a job. As if everyone else in the world hasn't lost a job before. Just kind of stick around, don't let that feeling of having nothing weigh you down, because if you just keep grinding, you just keep working hard, everything will pay off. And this is one of those situations, right now I'm low, right now I'm sad, right now I'm feeling like I have nothing, but I do have you guys. Again, I expect this video to not get that many views, because right now YouTube is kind of screwing me over, as well as many of my other YouTube buddies. We've been quite screwed over. I don't know if it's the algorithm or what's happening, but just keep grinding. For those out there who are YouTubers, for those out there who are just working 9 to 5s, just keep grinding and keep up the good work, because you might not feel it, but just waking up every day and applying to jobs, even if it's just going to your crappy 9 to 5 that you want to get out of, keep doing that, because it's better than nothing. Yeah, it might not be where you want to be. I'm obviously not getting $10,000 a month on YouTube like I was in my prime, but I think that things will be okay. Things will be okay for me, and if they're okay for me, they'll be okay for you. I want to know what you guys think about life down below. What are you guys dealing with in life? What are you struggling with? What do you, maybe something good happened? The comment section doesn't have to all be sad and, oh no, boo-hoo, baby cry, baby woo, boo-boo. But I just want to talk to you guys, so let me know what you think down below. I appreciate you sticking by if you did. If you want to know more about my little security job thing, maybe I might make another video, do one of those like, I worked at GameStop and blah, 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 like I hated it. Nah, it wouldn't be a GameStop video because that's not where it was, but I do appreciate you guys. Even if it's just 500 of you watching my video, or if it's 400,000, I appreciate anyone who clicks my video. You can watch for a minute or 10 minutes. I'm just glad that you guys did, because there are millions of YouTubers you could be watching and listening to ramble and yap, and you chose to listen to me. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day. Peace out, my friends. Bye.